Hello and welcome to Crossing Bridges. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is Robin Salser, the owner of the finest barbecue restaurant in the San Gabriel Valley. It is the finest because the quality food is the best, comparable prices, and outstanding service. Robin has been serving Pasadena for over 33 years in the most outstanding professional and personal service. But most importantly, Robin is a diamond in rough. He's gracious, kind, considerate, and goes out of his way almost every single day to uplift someone's day to become better. There's so much that you need to know about this gentleman and his restaurant that's going to take me a long time to expand on. But because of the limited time we have, I would like to go directly and introduce Robin Salser, and you will find out more as to why I said he truly is a diamond in rough. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce my guest, Robin Salser. Robin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nat. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. And I'll write you a check for all those good things you said about me. Yeah, I'll give it to you after the show.
Well, it's really, truly deserved, Robin, and it's not me. Everyone that you come across in Pasadena, when you mention your name, immediately say, Robin is God sent, and I really mean that, because you have done so much for Pasadena, not only through serving them through your wonderful restaurant that I have had the privilege of eating there so many times, but the things that you do from your heart. And you're one person that I've come across my entire life, and I'm a very good judge of characters. And you do it because of giving. You never do something because you want something back. You do it because from your heart, the enjoyment you received, and the kind and gentle person you are. So I'm really delighted and honored to have you today.
Well, thank you.
I want the viewing audience today to not only learn more about Robin's Barbecue, but also about you. I know at a young age, you began going into restaurant business, and you became the youngest franchise owner. So if you'd be so kind, take us back in Ohio, I believe, was where you began, and bring us from there to how you came to Pasadena and were able to get Robin's Barbecue.
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Okay.
and which is close. And I've always worked. It seems like every waking hour I've worked. And when I became 16 years old, when I got to be 16, I wanted to work at the IHOP that we went to every Sunday after church. So the day I turned 16, I went and put in an application at the IHOP. A week later, I got a phone call from the IHOP, and they asked my mom if Robin was available. And because of my name, that's why I'm in the business I am today. My mom said, Robin will be right there. Well, they thought they were interviewing a girl for a hostess position. And I showed up with a white shirt and tie, rode my bike there, and I must have impressed them because they started me as a dishwasher, and they didn't have any positions open, but they probably said, we got to hire this kid. And that's where I got my start. And 7 years later, I bought the restaurant that I started at. My motivation at that time was different than it is today, but every Sunday we'd wash the boss's car. He'd bring his big Cadillac around the corner, and we thought it was the greatest thing on earth. We were washing our boss's Cadillac. And he'd treat us to a chocolate shake. It was incredible. And I said, I want to own a Cadillac someday. But the only way I'm going to own a Cadillac is I have to own this restaurant.
That's true.
So I worked 3 jobs. I worked in a foundry. I bartended at night. I worked at the IHOP on weekends, saved my money, and through support from my family and my parents helped wash dishes and wash windows and clean up the place. And I was able to buy the restaurant and took the restaurant from being the lowest volume IHOP in the city of Milwaukee to the second highest in the state of Wisconsin.
At that time, IHOP was really a large chain throughout the United States, basically.
Yes.
It's one of the biggest and the finest restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that you started with a good chain of restaurants. And of course, the history has shown what you have become today. Now, expand from after serving Milwaukee, the people, I'm sure the service you have given now, given then, how you came to California, and what was your purpose?
My sister moved out to California with her future husband, and I came out one Christmas. Now, think of this. It's 25 below zero when I left Milwaukee, and I landed at LAX and it was 50. Now for us now it's a cold day, but for me it was a heat wave.
Right.
I immediately fell in love with California. It was Christmas, there was no snow on the ground. I was in my shorts and a t-shirt. People thought I was nuts, but I thought I was in heaven. And I still think I'm in heaven by living out here in California. And I looked at many restaurants all the way from Westminster up to Capitola, up in Northern California. Looked at my restaurant in Pasadena amongst those restaurants and was intimidated by it. I came from the A-frame IHOP concept, and this was a large, sprawling restaurant, and I just didn't get a good feel for it. And about 6 months later, it was still for sale. And I had a very dear relative of mine who helped me get going out here, and I stayed at his house, and my sister by then had moved on to Houston. And he said, look at that restaurant again in Pasadena. And I looked at it again, and I felt a better comfort level. And 32 years later, almost 33 years later, I'm sitting in your studio.
Well, it was a blessing for you to come to Pasadena, Robin, because God has a purpose for each and every one of us. That was your destiny, and look what you have done for Pasadena, and what a blessing it has been for all of us, and I mean that sincerely. The one thing that I really enjoy about your restaurant is the decor inside. You come in, there's so much to see, you feel comfortable, and it's a personal feeling. You don't feel out of place.
Thank you.
And you feel everyone actually is like a family, from people who serve us, people who cook, and you have one of the best cooks that have been with you for almost 16, 18 years. Can you expand on him a little bit?
Well, I mean, my entire crew, I mean, I wish I could expand on everybody that works for us or is part of the team. I don't like to use the word work. We're all part of a team. I'm proud of the fact that we haven't hired a waiter or waitress over the last 9 years. I mean, we're like a family. Sometimes we get mad at each other. We differ on opinions, but at the end of the day, we're all there for the common goal, and we work things out. Most of my cooks have been with me for more than 20 years. I have a manager who's truly a success story, Jean St. Jean. Jean came to us 28 years ago from PCC. He spoke no English, only spoke French. He came from Haiti. And 28 years later, he started off as a dishwasher. He was the first non-Latino to work in my kitchen, and it was really a culture clash. But 28 years later, he's our general manager. He's trilingual, owns a home. He's my right-hand, partner, and he's just, it's an incredible success story.
Wonderful.
Most of the people that have, belonged to our team have been with us for at least 15 to 20 years, and it's my blessing, to have them work in our organization, and it's truly my dream come true. I mean, the community of Pasadena, they allowed me, this skinny kid with a girl's name with big ears from Milwaukee 32 years ago, to succeed in his dreams. And I truly believe at the end of the day that we're a close community, we're a proud community, and I think the business community needs to reinvest into our community here. I mean, if the community is going to invest into our dreams, right, it behooves us to reinvest back into the community.
For barbecue to taste good, first of all, it has to be good quality meat. Mm-hmm. Number two, it has to be cooked specially, the right temperature, right time, and then the sauce. You have a number of sauces, and as I indicated, your chef, man, I don't know how he got it. He must have gone to a culinary school and learned how to cook, because the most tasty, delicious barbecue anywhere. Can you expand on him a little bit?
Well, I've gone all over the country. Last October, I was in North Carolina. Went up and down the North Carolina Barbecue Trail. Every year, I go on a barbecue road trip. And a couple years ago, Cruz went with me down, and we went to Southern California, hit all the barbecue restaurants, and he can't go on all these trips with me because somebody's got to run the kitchen. Right. But I'll bring back things. Right. And he is so adept at copying and replicating what I bring back. Right. And Cruz has been with us 25 years. The key to good barbecue is slow and low. I mean, we smoke everything, not cook, smoke everything at 220. And yes, the quality of meat's very important. Right. I mean, you can tell just after one bite whether it's prime or it's select. But the most important thing is, I think that we like what we do, we love what we do, my crew loves what they do, and my chef, he loves what he does, and he's experimenting, he's changing. Sometimes he changes, experiments a little too much, and next thing I know, there's a special on the menu that I don't even know about. But I love to give them that leeway, absolutely, and that freedom to do that, because it gives them the opportunity to expand not only the restaurant but their own goals too.
I also like your menu because it reminds me of when I was in New York. I came to this country at a young age of 13, and they had like little train, what do you call them, caboose?
Caboose.
Yeah, used to serve food, and this used the style of menu so popular, but it's so beautifully designed. Basically, I like the camera to pick it up if they can, basically, to see what I'm talking about. It's so elegantly designed, and it's catchy. It's like searching for different stories, looking for different food, and you don't get tired of looking at it. And it's really beautifully done. So I want to talk about some of the things on the menu, if I may ask
Sure.
you. I know you have all variety of barbecue, of course, but you also have different dishes beside barbecue that I want the public to know. So can you expand on some of those, please?
Well, I mean, the big thing now is gluten-free and vegetarian. So,
Right.
you know, inevitably, every day, every other day, I get a call, do you have anything vegetarian? And of course, who do we have? You know, wood-fired artichokes. We have 5-cheese mac and cheese, which is absolutely incredible. Blue cheese, jack cheese, cheddar cheese, smoked mozzarella cheese, and Parmesan cheese. I mean, it's a cholesterol speedball, but you know, you're going to die loving it. We have veggie burgers. We have fresh corn on the cob. You know, we are a meat house. I mean, we're a barbecue place, but we try to make sure that we have something for everybody. And the menu is fun. We have fun with the menu. We highlight certain people in town. The mayors mentioned in there, a couple of our council members, some of our best customers. And I know in the next revision of this menu, there's going to be a Nat Nader item in there too. So it's fun. We have a blast. And
you also have something that a lot of restaurants don't have, and that is when people come in, they can have nuts basically in a big container, and they can help themselves. How did that come about?
I like peanuts.
Peanuts.
And sometimes I just need a quick pickup, boost of energy, and I'll grab a pocket full of peanuts. And I also love basketball, and I have season tickets to the LA Clippers games, and I will not spend $6 on a little bag of peanuts. So I always stock my pockets with. But people like to have that little extra sizzle, so to speak, to their meal, and they sit there and they can throw the shells on the floor. It makes them feel at home. It's comfortable. Actually, they can't do that at home, so they can do it in my home. But the peanuts, it's just a touch that I've seen at different restaurants, and I've emulated, the best of the best. And I said, if I have the opportunity to do peanuts, I'm doing them. Now, salted in the shell peanuts also, sometimes they make you a little thirstier, and that ice cold Blue Moon on tap can go well with those peanuts.
It sure does. You also have menu for children.
Yes.
And certain days children can eat for free. Can you talk about that?
Every Wednesday and Sunday, kids eat free. And I mean, we're in a tough economy. I mean, regardless of what you read and what people say, times are tough for people. So it gives the families that have supported me, and I mean, now I have grandkids come in, that used to come with their grandparents. Now these grandkids are bringing in their kids. And it gives the families an opportunity to come in and save a little money. It still keeps them coming to our restaurant, and it keeps that family together, with the Robbins family. And so on Wednesdays and Sundays, kids eat free. For every adult that purchases a meal, they get a child's menu.
You also have karaoke, right?
Yes.
And what nights?
Karaoke is on Friday nights, and it's from 8 till 10:30, depending on the crowd. And you can get out of the shower and come to Robbins, and you can be a star. I always say that one of our recently retired police lieutenants, Rodney Wallace, is the king of karaoke.
Yes, I know Rodney.
So and it's fun, and again, it's another thing to do that you can get out and if you don't want to go to the movies, if you don't want to go bowling, you can come there and be a star.
Well, most of the customers that you have are really valued referral and ongoing customers. Most of them are the same customers. They're coming to you for years and after years, and then they bring family and friends. As I indicated at the inception, you really feel like you're at home because you look around, you say, oh my God, that's the couple I saw 2 weeks ago, or those were the people I saw last week, which really makes it a very atmosphere of family style, a family style that no one is looking over your shoulder how you eat, how you talk. And everybody is having a great time because the food is great, first of all, and the people who serve you, they know you well because as soon as you walk in, they call you by name. That is a great a tribute that you pay to a client by remembering your name. And also another thing that I've noticed among many restaurants, because I give a lot of lecture and seminars to restaurants, is how you judge the restaurant by the restroom. And you have one of the neatest, cleanest, and I've seen how you go through having it cleaned up from inside and outside before you open door every single day and repeatedly during the course of the day.
I did a promotion about 20 years ago. I said, I did some print advertising, and it said, "Restroom's so clean, the owner eats his lunch in there." So I put a little card table in there, and I ate my lunch in there. We took pictures of it, and that didn't last too long because it was, for some people it might have been a turnoff. But
Right.
I really think that people come to my restaurant because they feel comfortable. And again, the generation that has passed, that comes, the grandparents came years ago, and now their grandkids are bringing in their kids. I remember during the earthquakes, when we had the Northridge earthquake that affected many homes in Pasadena, and we had the Sierra Madre earthquake before then. When we had the Kinaloa fires up in Hastings, and people lost their homes, they came to my restaurant to use our phone. They came to that side room so they could watch it on TV. We were their vestige of comfort and safety, and I think for those reasons and a lot of intangibles, I mean, you have to have good food, you have to have good service, you have to be reasonably priced, but I think the intangibles that we give that just happen to be just natural. It's just something that we do. It's not in any manual, it's not in any standard operating procedure. I think it's a mindset that we have.
That's why you've been so successful. I know you're very modest, but I'm going to expand on this subject anyway. Some of the viewing audience are not aware what Robin does for the city of Pasadena. For the past 6 years, you have been serving meals to over 35,000 people at one facility, that's Jackie Robinson Center, every Wednesday night. You also have been serving over 20,000 or so at Villa Park Center. And I believe on December of this year, combined, you'll be serving somewhere around 55 to 60,000 meals, which is really a God gift from you to the people of Pasadena. And it's not just for homeless people, it's for anyone who wants to have a meal. They're more than welcome. And I've seen Bill Bogart, Phil Sanchez, council members all serving behind because they also join you to give back to community in some little way. How did that come about, Robin?
About 20 years ago, I got a knock on the back door by one of my best friends, Walt Jackson, and a gentleman named Joe Coletti, who was with the Lutheran Service Center back then. And they were doing a bad weather shelter night. And evidently they were going to restaurants. And I happened to be working late that night. And they knocked on the door, it was raining out, and they asked if we had any extra food. And I gave them some food. And they came back the next night, and we took care of them. And it was just something that, when somebody's in need, you take care of them. I mean, I've been in situations where I've been in need. And for some reason, I've always been able to succeed, and I've always been. If anybody says they've never had a helping hand, they're lying to you. Everybody through life has had some type of help. So about 7 years ago, I ran for city council. And when I'd knock on doors, and I'd be invited into people's homes, and they'd invite me, it would be a hot day, and they'd invite me in their kitchen for lemonade, and they'd open up their refrigerator, and there was no food in there. Or I'd be walking over mattresses to get into that kitchen, and it was a life-changing experience for me. I mean, it just affected me. I mean, and some of these people I knew, and they were customers of mine, and you don't know it until you knock on the door and say, "Oh, I was at your restaurant last week," or "My daughter worked for you 20 years ago." And I said, win or lose, I can do something here. And it just, I lost my race. It was a very close race, and it was one of the most exciting things I've ever done. But it gave me the opportunity to do everything that I said I was going to do during a campaign, and one of the things was to do a meal program. So we started at the Jackie Robinson Center, and it was, we have a mantra, a model that's called rebuilding our communities one meal at a time. And it's amazing, the people that come out every week, and some people can afford to eat at the best restaurants, but they're coming here, it's the conversation, it's the dialogue, it's rebuilding a community, and it's so important. It became so successful at Jackie Robinson that we did the same thing at Villa Park. Villa Park, the demographics are a little different, but the needs are just the same. And you'll see families coming in, mothers bringing in their kids, after school because the fathers are working 2 jobs to make ends meet. And it's 100% volunteer driven, 100% donated. Again, the mayor and Chief Sanchez, Chief Wells, City Manager Michael Beck, a host of, City Council Member John Kennedy's been in there many times. A host of our electeds have come up there, and it gives the city, to have a connection with the constituents.
That's right.
Just recently, I had the West Pasadena Residents Association from the farthest, southwestern part of Pasadena come up and volunteer. They volunteered to come up. And it was an eye-opening experience for some of the folks there. And I told them, I said, sometimes there's a perception of Northwest Pasadena that's unfounded. I mean, in the almost 3 years that we've been at Jackie Robinson, we've never had a robbery, we never had a shooting,
Absolutely.
we've never had an assault, we've never had a car broken into, we've never had a blood or a crip or a Denver Park Lane intimidating somebody in the parking lot. And I can assure you, if we had a blood, crip, or a Denver Park Lane waiting in line for a meal, we'd serve them.
Absolutely.
And so there's a perception about Northwest Pasadena that isn't true. It's a very vibrant community. It's full of life and arts and good
Absolutely.
people. And so it's a wonderful program. It gives me a chance to thank the community for thanking me or for taking care of my dreams and helping me fulfill my dream. And it's just something we do. I think it's part of my DNA. It's just, I can't explain it, but it's something that I enjoy and will continue to do.
Well, that really extends to what you just said to the community, because when people are not hungry, they're not looking to go somewhere and take food away from someone else or do something out of the ordinary or break the law.
Right.
So it's very true. It's really true. If your stomach is full, then you're content, you're satisfied. And I can assure you, not only I, but thousands of people in the city of Pasadena are grateful, and I'm sure you know that they have always extended their appreciation to you. You said something about Pasadena should be one umbrella of family. There should not be a division between the north, east, west, and south. And you have brought that with your involvement of serving meals, but also when you ran for public office, you did talk about that we should become united, we should become a family. And I had said the same thing to many people who have been running for various districts. They should really expand on that and work on that and making that one goal and objective. Because there is still some division that exists in different parts of Pasadena. And I don't want people living in the east side think that west side is a rundown place, which is not, or the north is not a place to invest. There's so much to be done in the Pasadena. And people like Robin Salzer, God bless you, are the key to uniting Pasadena. And my wish is one day that they are not going to talk anymore about north, east, west, and south. They're going to talk about one Pasadena.
Correct.
And I want everybody to feel like a family, that people feel comfortable driving to the northwest area or vice versa, because that division has to stop. And I think your meals have been tremendous help, and God bless you for that.
Thank you.
And I truly hope that you once again start thinking about running for some public office, because City of Pasadena needs people like Robin. And I'm not the only one thinking that way. I know Larry Wilson recently wrote a beautiful article about you. Well said, well done, and you should be blessed for that, because you're really a blessing to Pasadena. I mean that. We only have a couple of minutes left to go,
Sure.
and I'd like to really talk to the viewing audience about you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because I've been doing this show for 18 years, and you are one of the blessed person that have been on my show, and I mean that sincerely, Robin. Ladies and gentlemen, the thing that we tend to forget is we go to a restaurant, we go to a business, we do whatever necessary is, either restaurant to eat, business to buy some item. We tend to forget what is behind the ownership of the business that you are going to do some business with. Well, in this case that we've been talking about for the past 30 minutes, it's Robin Salzer, a person that you have heard about for the past 25 minutes or so. You have got to know a man that is not there only to make profit, but he has given far more back to the community from his heart, because I indicated he truly is a diamond in rough. He does this every single day. I know for a fact there was a homeless gentleman lying behind his restaurant. He brought him in, fed him, clothed him, gave him a job, and that gentleman will never forget what he did for him. All of us have gone through life at one time or another hungry, needed something, and we look for someone as a reach out, not as a handout, but a reach out, because every human being needs something at one moment. And Robin has been the Santa Claus that has been called for City of Pasadena. Now, how do we repay him back? Do we give him money for his service? Of course not. He's going to take it and it will be disrespectful. But what we can do, go to his restaurant, see him, say, Robin, thank you so much, and we are showing our appreciation to you by coming to your restaurant. And besides, as I indicated, the best barbecue in the San Gabriel Valley. Try it. And if you don't like it, call me, because I've been there many times and I can assure you, it's truly the best barbecue anywhere. And any restaurant, you want to survey them, 3 things: quality of food, pricing, and service. Service. All those 3 cannot be matched anyplace else. So once again, next time, on Wednesday especially, you have children, take your children for half a price at 395 North Rosemead Boulevard, Pasadena. Great atmosphere, great setup, great food, and lots of fun. So I have said my extension of appreciation to Robin here in front of you, but I also show it many times outside of the TV station. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in, listening, and next time you're going to have lunch, dinner at Robin's Barbecue, stop by, ask for Robin or any other member, say, I saw you on TV show Crossing Bridges, and I'm here to say thank you to you. Robin, I want to say thank you so much again for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. God bless you. Keep up the good work. And the reason for all of us on this planet is to know what we are here for, what is our destiny, and go for it. And you are a blessed person, and you have done that. And I mean that sincerely.
Well, I'm honored and humbled to be here, and I want to thank the community for supporting me, and I will always be of service to the community. Thank you very much.
God bless you, Robin. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show the program, as I call it, or the menu for you to remember. Next time when you go in, believe me, you're going to spend several minutes because there are so many wonderful dishes on this menu. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time at Robin's Barbecue, 395 North Rosemead Boulevard. Have a wonderful day.